Depart, arrival, round trip ticket. Sounds like somebody's traveling. Hello everyone, my name is Ehab and this is English with Ehab, where we talk about English, we practice it, and hopefully by the end of the lesson we learn something about it. The topic for today is going to be a conversation lesson. The topic for the conversation is going to be traveling. Now, I understand there's so many different methods for traveling, whether it could be by boat, by car, by train, by bus, obviously plane. The focus for today is going to be specifically on traveling by plane. So, as I've done before in the conversation lessons, what I'd like to do is introduce some vocabulary. The list is not going to be too extensive, just some basic vocabulary. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dialogue up on the board with some blanks, and we're going to see if we can complete that dialogue with the new vocabulary that we learned today. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the board and let's go over the vocabulary first. Okay, on the board right behind me are 8 terms or vocabulary words which we use when we travel, specifically by plane. Again, the focus is going to be traveling through flying. So let's go one by one. Number 1, one-way ticket. One-way ticket. A one-way ticket is basically an airline ticket in which you travel to your destination, but you don't return. There could be, again, many reasons for why you are doing this. Maybe you are just going to stay in that particular place. Maybe you are returning, but you don't know when you are going to return. So, again, a one-way ticket is just traveling to your destination, and that's it. The opposite of that, obviously, would be a round trip ticket. Round trip means there's a specific date which you are traveling and going to your destination, and usually there's going to be a specific date where you return home. Depart. Depart is when the plane leaves. Arrival is the time for reaching your destination. Check-in. Check-in is a process whereby passengers are accepted by an airline at the airport before leaving. So what does that mean? Basically, check-in is when you take all of your suitcases, your luggage, you check some information, passports if you are going to fly internationally. You check your luggage. Security makes sure that there's nothing in there that you should not be traveling with. The whole process, we call that check-in. When you are traveling, there's 2 types of travel. One is domestic and the other one is international. Very simply, domestic means that you are traveling inside your country. International means you are traveling outside of your country. And generally speaking, usually for international, we need to take our passports with us. Number 8, the last one, baggage. Baggage is defined as any items that a traveler takes with him or her when they go on a trip. Now, most of the time it's going to be luggage. It could be a suitcase, possibly a carry-on, but you never know. Sometimes people might have packages that they are traveling with. Who knows? So it's any item that the traveler is taking with them on their particular journey. We call that baggage. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the conclusion. Again, in the conclusion, I'm going to have a dialogue on the board. I'm going to have these words right here, and we're going to see if we can complete the dialogue with these particular words. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Okay, on the board right behind me is a small dialogue between 2 people. One of them, her name is Liz, and then the second person, his name is Jason. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm simply just going to read the dialogue with the blanks one time. And then you guys at home can repeat after me. And then what I'm going to do a second time is we're going to go back again and we're going to see if we can complete these blanks with the vocabulary that we learned today. Again, the vocabulary: one way. International. Domestic. Round trip. Check-in. Depart. Arrival. And baggage. Okay, so let's go through the dialogue. Liz says, "Hey Jason, what's all this? Are you going somewhere?" Jason, "Yes, I am, Liz." Liz, "Nice. Do you have a blank trip or is it blank?" Jason says, "It's international. I'm going to Japan tomorrow." Liz, "Wow, that's so cool. I've always wanted to go." Jason, "Yeah, I blank from LAX tomorrow at 9 a.m. and my blank will be 10 hours later in Tokyo." Liz, "Make sure you get to the airport early. Blank takes forever." Jason, "Sure, of course." Liz, "When are you coming back?" Jason, "Not sure. I got a blank ticket." Liz, "What? You don't know when you are coming back?" Jason, "I'll decide later. One way was much cheaper than a blank ticket." Okay, now within the dialogue, there's a lot of information there to kind of guide you and help you figure out which vocabulary word is going to complete these parts of the dialogue. So let's go back and let's try one more time. All right, Liz says, "Hey Jason, what's all this?" So obviously she's looking probably at a bunch of items, bags, maybe packages. What's all this? Baggage. Because again, she asks him, "Are you going somewhere?" You're not going to ask somebody that question unless you see all of that. So, "Are you going somewhere?" Jason says, "Yes, I am, Liz." Liz says, "Nice. Do you have a blank trip or is it blank?" Now, if you look at Jason's answer, he says it's international. So, she probably asked him, is it a domestic trip or is it international? Now, for this particular part of the dialogue, you can say domestic here, or you can say, is it an, well, actually this one, it can only be domestic because it says a. If it's international, I have to say an international. So, we'll just leave it like that. Jason answers and says, "No, it's international. I'm going to Japan tomorrow." Again, Liz is really happy for him because she wants to go. "Wow, that's so cool. I've always wanted to go." Jason, "Yeah, I blank from LAX tomorrow at 9 a.m. and my blank will be 10 hours later in Tokyo. So I depart from LAX. For those of you who don't know what LAX is, it's the most famous airport in the city of Los Angeles. At 9 a.m. and my arrival. Remember, arrival is the time that we reach our destination. My arrival will be 10 hours later in Tokyo. Liz, make sure you get to the airport early. Check-in takes forever. Again, check-in is when you go to the person working from the airline at the front counter. You give them their bags, you check everything, make sure everything is good to go, and that usually takes a long time. Jason says, "Sure, of course." Liz says, "When are you coming back?" Jason says, "Not sure. I got a one-way ticket." Remember, one way means you are traveling to your destination and you are not going to return. Well, you could return, but there's no specific time at that particular moment to return. Liz, what? You don't know when you are coming back? Jason, "I'll decide later." So a lot of times we travel and we make a decision when we're going to come back. Some of us have the luxury of being able to do something like that. But his particular reason for only one way was much cheaper than a round trip ticket. Hope you guys learned something today. Again, when usually I do a conversation lesson, I try to put together, a conversation that's very, very basic, and to kind of utilize the vocabulary that we learned for today. Anyways, please like and subscribe to the channel if you can. Again, they help out a lot. Until next time, keep on speaking English. Bye-bye.